it's Alex. Thanks for clicking on my video. I'm gonna go ahead and start in with my mini twist. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is part my hair into 4 sections. I always like to work in sections, so it's a little bit easier to work with. So I'll do that right before putting my leave-in in. So now that I have the first quadrant of my hair kind of parted out, I don't really part evenly. I'm gonna start with my leave-in, and I'm using Camille Rose Honey Hydrate. This is a leave-in product, and it actually looks, feels, and smells like honey, but it's really moisturizing, so I'm gonna start with putting that in my hair. So I have that product all smoothed into my hair, and I'm just gonna take my Denman brush. A lot of people have the red back Denman brush. This one's got black on the back. I think the bristles are a little bit more hard than the red one, but either one, I really like both. And I'm just making sure that my hair is as smooth as possible, because I know twists, really, you have to have all the detangles out. So I'm just smoothing through with my Denman brush a couple more times before I put in my cream. So the next product I'm going to use is a butter. This is the Camille Rose Naturals Almond Dry Twisting Butter. This is actually my first time using it, but lately I've just been interested in doing twists for the style of having twists and not do twist out. So instead of a gel, I thought it would be good to use a more moisturizing hair butter. So I'm gonna go ahead, smooth that in. It's really thick. Haven't used it yet, but it's, you know, stuck right there. It's not sliding down or anything, so I'm excited to see how this works on my hair. All right, I've got all of the twisting butter in. My hair smells nice and smooth, moisturized, and I really focused on the ends here just because that is the oldest part of my hair. And then the last step is to apply oil. Oil is usually a sealant, so I like to put all of the moisturizing products in first and then seal it with the oil, just because I plan on keeping these twists in for at least a week. So I just wanna make sure that I'm able to seal all those great moisturizing products I just put in. Right now, I'm gonna use the, this is sweet almond oil. I kind of switch up my oils. I really like vitamin E. I'm not a fan of Jamaican black castor oil, just because to me it feels really like gummy and thick on my hair. I don't know if that's because of my hair texture, but I just find that it's a little bit thick for me. So this sweet almond oil is a perfect mix of not too thick, not too thin. So I'm gonna go ahead and seal it with this oil right here before I start putting the twists in. All right, so this section of my hair is ready to go. I personally don't really divide my hair evenly or put super even parts. I kind of like the look where the twists are not 100% straight, just because for me, I think when you have it in different styles, it makes it look a little better. So my hair's pretty smooth already, but just with twists, I want to make sure it's as smooth as possible before I start twisting. So I'm actually going to take this small tooth comb and just really rake it through, make sure it is as smooth as possible. I'm going to go ahead and split it and start twisting down. And now that I'm at the very end of my twist, I'm gonna take a little bit more of the Almond Dry Camille Rose Natural Twisting Butter and put it right at the end here, and then just kind of wrap it around my finger one more time, just because I really wanna pay attention to those ends, and I like the look of like that curl at the bottom. So I'll just twist it like this, and there is my first twist. So I'm about 8 or 9 twists in, and I just wanted to talk quickly about the size of the twists. So I really wanted to make sure that the twists are not too big, but also not too small. So if you're thinking about protective style and you want to make sure that it's as moisturized as possible, twists that are too small will come out and look frizzy after a few days. I'm sorry, twists that are too big will come out looking frizzy after a few days. But if you can see, I'm also not making them too small, because for me, when I take them down, sometimes they'll get a little bit tangly when they're too small. So I just want to get that perfect balance of, you know, moisture, but also just not being too tiny so that they're really tangly and difficult to get out. The other thing you'll see is like there's this white film that is happening as I'm twisting. That's just the product. And it does dry after a couple seconds. And if you see these ones, it comes out looking, you know, the white goes away. But to me, that's just a sign that I have enough moisture and I have enough product in the hair. So This is about the size of the twist that I'm using, and this just works for me in terms of twists that are moisturized but also will last for a few days. So I'm right at about the halfway point of my hair. Let me see if I can turn around. Maybe I'm not at the halfway point, it just feels like it's there, but here's where I am so far. And I know I said I wasn't very particular about the parting, but the one thing I am a little bit more particular about is the front, just because I want to make sure that wherever my hair is parted, where you can see it, that it looks relatively even. I prefer side parts. I've tried middle parts in the past, and I don't know if it's because I have a long head, or what, but it just, middle parts don't really work for me. I prefer off to one side or the other. I do switch the sides just because I don't want my edges to thin out just from always parting to the right or the left. But with that said, I do pick one side or the other. And I just want to see and make sure that the part looks the way that I want it to when I'm done, just so that this part is where you can see it, and I want to make sure that it looks relatively clean with my twists. So right before I start the front, I just want to keep this part in mind, and then I'll separate these two and keep twisting. So in addition to making sure that your part is, I wouldn't even say clean because mine is not necessarily clean, but it's just where I prefer it to be. I would also add a little teeny bit of edge control cream, not a whole lot, but I'm using the Cream of Nature Argan Oil Perfect Edges gel, and it just kind of helps the front piece look a little bit cleaner. I'm not using a whole lot because I don't want it to cake up throughout the week, but it's a very small amount. If you can see this bit on my finger, and I'm just gonna put it on my edges right here, just a little bit. I also have, you know, my hair is relatively thinner in the front, so I just want to be mindful of that and make sure that I'm not, you know, slicking my edges back too far, but it just makes it a little bit cleaner to put the edge control gel right there and then keep twisting. Also, as I'm twisting, I'm actually noticing a few gray hairs here and there. I am 29, so it's about that time for gray hairs to start coming in, but it's just interesting seeing as you're parting, just like, oh, is that a gray hair? So, you know, I'm embracing it, but it is fun to come through and kind of just count if I have any or not. So I'm curious to know if anyone else has gray hair and when they started graying, but I'm definitely noticing a couple up in the front as I'm twisting down. On timing, I've heard a lot of people say that putting twists in their hair takes 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. You know, I don't know what, in terms of my timing, why it doesn't take that long, but for me, this took, I want to say maybe an hour and 15, an hour 20 tops. So, you know, this works for me for a protective style. It's something I'm able to do every week, but if you are a person where, you know, it takes 4 or 5 hours to put twists in your hair, I definitely understand if that's not something that you want to spend your whole entire Saturday or Sunday doing. So just figure out what works and kind of stick with it if it does well for you. For me at least, this is what works, so this is what I stick with. I just finished everything. All the twists are all the way in. Let me turn around so you can see the whole thing. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. These usually last me, like I said, about a week and a half. I know some people can get their twists to last 6 to 8 weeks. That's just not me. It'll get frizzy, but I think they're really functional. You know, you can tie them back, put them in a ponytail or a bun. There's just a lot of options here, and you know, with me working from home, working virtually, I just kind of keep it like this for work when I need to do virtual meetings or anything like that. So it's just a really functional style. Keeps my hair moisturized, keeps it out of my face and clean, and it just works for me. So hopefully this was helpful in terms of figuring out, you know, how to do twists, what products to use, how big to make them. But I definitely would encourage, if you don't already do them, to think of them as a style for moisture and retention. I think that's it. So I hope you all have a great week and a great day, and that's it.